Well, roses are red and April is gray, and very, very soon,
It's gonna be May.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Theo. Thanks for hanging out with me today while I go over a bunch of the books that I'm looking to read in the month of May as I go with the flow and pick up books that, you know, I just feel like reading and give in to the mood reader in me. It's going to be a bit of a chaotic list because I have a bunch of books that I'm going to choose from, and I've done my best to compile the books that have been on my mind, burning my TBR, the ones that I know that I'm going to be in the mood for. I just don't know exactly which ones are going to make the cut. I might go completely off script and pick up something random throughout the month, and you'll see that in an upcoming wrap up. But for now, these are pretty much the ones that I'm going to choose from. The first book is actually the only one that's a certainty because while it's been burning my TBR for a while and I'm finally in the mood to read it, and what better month to do it, it turned into a buddy read because a couple guys wanted to read it and we're just going to read it all together. So this one is The Gates of Fire by Steven Pressfield. This is a short standalone historical fiction about the Greeks, the Spartans and the Persians specifically. And it's basically the Battle of Thermopylae. If you have watched the movie 300, it's basically that story and that battle. This one comes highly recommended. It's on a lot of people's lists for, you know, the best historical fiction that there is. So it's obviously been on my list for a long time. I have this nice first edition hardcover, which is gorgeous. I also have the audiobook. It's queued up, ready to go. I'm in the mood for it right now. And this is going to be the first book that I read in the month of May. Now, I recently read Legend by David Gemmell. That's the first book in his Draenei series. And it spans 11 or 12 books, I think. And I love that book so much, I did a gush review here on the channel. And because I liked it, I wanted to go ahead and pick up the next book in the series and, you know, continue. But I've heard that while that book is quite good, and apparently the series gets better as it continues, it doesn't quite capture the magic of Legend, the first book. So I decided, because this series is commonly read in chronological order as well as publication order, I'm just going to go back in time and pick up this, I think, prequel called The First Chronicles of Druss the Legend. I found this gorgeous hardcover first edition used a long time ago, and it's been sitting on the shelf, and I wasn't quite sure where it fit in the Draenei series. I knew that I wanted to read Legend, and I knew that I wanted to read the series, but I wasn't quite sure what this was. And apparently it's going back in time, the story of Druss, and a little bit of his background and how he got to the point where we first meet him in Legend. I love Druss as a character, and I just want more Druss, and I want to go back and figure out kind of how he got to where he is. I don't know how much of his story is told in this one, but I'm just super keen to continue. And it's short. I get Druss in here, and I think this might be a little bit more what I'm in the mood for versus continuing on with the Draenei story and series. So I want a little more Druss, and I think I'm going to pick this up in May as well. Also by David Gemmell, I stumbled across this series called the John Shano trilogy, and the first book is called Wolf in Shadow. People have compared it to Horizon Zero Dawn. They say they also get like Dark Tower vibes from it, which I don't know because I haven't read Dark Tower, but the story sounds interesting, and it's basically set in a post-apocalyptic world where the, you know, civilization has gone to ruin because of technology or nuclear weapons or a combination of the two, and people have become a little bit savage and reverted a little bit. And this guy, John Shano, is traversing the world trying to find peace and solve problems and, you know, figure out maybe what happened. So I think I might pick one of those books up. The first one, again, is called Wolf in Shadow, and just the premise sounds interesting, and it sounds like an atmosphere and an aesthetic that I might be in the mood for. And because I really like David Gemmell's writing, I wouldn't be shocked if I read the First Chronicles of Druss the Legend and then switched gears and read something else completely different by Gemmell and read Wolf in Shadow as well. Now, last month I finished Jade War by Fonda Lee, which is the second book in the Greenbone saga. I gave Jade City book 1 5 stars, and I gave Jade War 5 stars as well. And I'll save my thoughts and stuff for my wrap up coming soon, but I am struggling not to pick up Jade Legacy right away. This is book 3. It's the conclusion of the trilogy. I've been itching to get to this one, and I very well could be in the mood for this one, but it's a little bit bigger, and I don't know if I want to save the conclusion and read some random stuff this month and then conclude it next month and figure out what all the hype is about. People love this book. They love how it's wrapped up. I also have the audiobook for this one, so I might be able to get through it quicker than I otherwise would. Even just talking about it, holding it right now, I'm itching to start it. I need to know what happens. The character work is amazing. The urban fantasy setting is unique. The magic is fun. It becomes more macro as we proceed in the series, and the politics and everything kind of, you know, the family drama is just so well done that I can't wait. Just holding it, I'm in the mood already to read it. So this is probably going to be read in May as well. Who knows? This one here was given to me as a gift, and I have books 2 and 3 that you would have seen in a book haul. They get quite chunky, but this one is pretty short, and it's been on my TBR for a while. That is We Are the Dead by Mike Shackle. This is book number 1 in the Last War series, and I've wanted to read this for a while. A lot of people on BookTube, Mike's Book Reviews, a bunch of other people have read it recently, and they've read through the series and have said it's amazing, it's grimdark, it's violent, it's very gritty, and doesn't really pull too many punches, and apparently it's done very well. So I'm excited to try this one. I think because it's short, it's like 460 pages. If I'm just itching to start and at least sample Mike Shackle's writing and get into this world and know that I have books 2 and 3 on deck for whenever I'm in the mood for those, I might just go ahead and pick up this one. The FOMO has been real on this one. People have really enjoyed it, and so it's been hard for me to not just pick it up. So in Mood Read May, I might just pick it up. Speaking of FOMO, this series has been on my list for a really long time. This is the Bound and the Broken series by Ryan Cahill. Book 1 is called Of Blood and Fire, and I don't know why I haven't read this one because people continue to recommend this to me all the time. Apparently it's reminiscent of a lot of the fantasy that I enjoy, the series and authors that I gravitate towards. It's loved on BookTube. There's a special edition coming out. He's written some novellas. I have the novellas, so I don't actually know if I'm going to jump into this one. I don't know too much about it yet. I've read the back, but I don't want to know too much about it. I kind of just want to be surprised, but people are loving this one. And I did pick up the novellas. You can get some, I think both of them free when you sign up for Ryan Cahill's newsletter. If not, maybe it's just the first one. I don't know if I'm going to jump into this one right away or maybe just sample the novella. I might just do that. Like if I'm in the mood for Ryan Cahill and I want to jump into this world, I might just pick up that first novella and sample it and see. And if I really enjoy it and I'm in the mood to continue, this is the month that I'm just going to let myself do whatever. So who knows? I might continue with the Bound and the Broken and pick up Of Blood and Fire. I recently just finished the first Harry Bosch book in the Harry Bosch universe or series by Michael Connelly. This one was called The Black Echo. This is a series or TV adaptation as well that I haven't watched. I should probably mention that, though you'd probably find the characters to be familiar and stuff. A lot of you have probably watched it, but this is a series that's been on my TBR for a while. Michael Connelly is supposed to be quite a good author, very consistent. All his books are supposed to be pretty satisfying, and I was just in the mood for a cop detective thriller mystery crime type novel. So I read that and I really liked it, and while I don't know if I'm going to continue this month with that series, I am still kind of in the mood for something like that. And so if I don't pick up another Bosch book, which are great palate cleansers and stuff to read in between fantasy, if I want something in the same vein with the same flavor but more fantasy, a broader world, more characters, just a little bit more on the fantasy side, I might pick up another Dresden book. Dresden is a series that I've really enjoyed. I think the next book I have is book like 10 or something, and this is getting into the sweet spot. This is getting into the area of the series that people really enjoy. It really cranks up and people have the best time in this latter sort of half of the series. So if I'm in the mood for something like that, the books are getting very, very interesting. I might go ahead and pick up a Dresden book. They're like comfort food. You can just pick them up whenever. I have the audiobooks narrated by James Marsders. He's amazing. And I just, consider him Harry Dresden now. And if I'm in the mood for one of those, I might just go ahead and jump right back into the Dresden world because I've been wanting to for a while and I'm not quite sure why I haven't. Maybe I've been holding them because I want to just make sure that I always have a Dresden book to pick up because they're very good palate cleansers. Like I said, comfort food, you can just jump right back in and they're easy and they read really fast. So Dresden is always an option. But I also recently heard someone talking about a total mystery, like a whodunit type novel, which I haven't read. I enjoy Agatha Christie. I haven't read one of her books in a while, but this one was, it's called The Magpie Murders, and I can't remember the name of the author or how to pronounce it, but I'll put it up on the screen. I bought the Kindle for this one. I've just been waiting for the right time, the right mood, and my wife likes books like this as well. We've read some Agatha Christie's together, so if I want to read something with her, and if I'm in the mood for a true mystery whodunit novel like this, again, it's kind of short, I think. Maybe we'll read it together. That might be kind of fun. I haven't read too many of these, but I've heard really good things about this particular one, so I just went ahead and bought it. Another one that we might read together, my wife and I, is another Stephen King book. I've had the craving for a Stephen King book for a while. I just didn't know exactly which way to go. There's two that I've been thinking about. One is Gerald's Game. One is Dolores Claiborne. I've heard really good things about both. My friends have recently read Dolores Claiborne and loved it and really recommended it to me. apparently there's one overarching event or something that kind of makes it clear that these two books take place around the same time. They're not really connected. You can read either one. They're both pretty short standalones by Stephen King standards. So I'm going to choose one of these as my next Stephen King book. I can pretty much promise that I'll read a Stephen King book next month and have the audio for these two as well. So I don't know which one I'm going to read first. I'm leaning towards Gerald's Game just because somebody told me that if you're going to read both, especially within a reasonable amount of time, maybe Gerald's Game might be better first, just because this event, there's something that might spoil a little bit of Dolores Claiborne. I don't know if that's true, and I don't think it really matters, but it depends. So whatever I'm in the mood for, maybe if it comes down to end of the month crunch time page numbers, I'll just pick the shorter one. I don't really know, but I've been in the mood for Stephen King for a while now, and I think this is the month to go ahead and fit another one in. The rest of the list is kind of self-pub, so I have a bunch of random self-pub options to choose from, and I don't exactly know where I'm going to land. I have some novellas, I have some shorter novels, I have some longer ones, I have some self-pub series that I've been looking at. So I don't actually know, and I'm not going to list them all here. Just know that in the background, there's a bunch of self-pub books that have been on my mind for a while that I've been wanting to get to. And if I'm in the mood for something a little bit different, I might just go ahead and fit some of those in. Again, I don't really know which of these books are going to be read or how many. The point of this Mood Read May month is going to be just going with the flow without consideration to TBR structure or readathons or buddy reads, or just kind of picking up what I want when I want and trying to have a blast while doing it. Are you going to join me for Mood Read May? Let me know if you are. And if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If there's certain ones you'd prefer me to, or you think I should pick up first before other ones, maybe let me know and kind of guide me. But this is kind of what I'm thinking about. This is the pile that's going to form the bulk of my Mood Read May. So thanks again for hanging out with me on this one. I appreciate all the support. Stay tuned for my upcoming wrap-ups and stuff for the last couple months, and I'll catch you real soon, I guess, on the next video.